Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Wednesday morning edition of the Moose Minute Project here on June 18th. Wow. Like I say, I had this discussion with somebody yesterday. Just how fast time is going by. So it's a goulash kind of day. And goulash is chili with noodles. Yes, if you have chili, you have chili. That's no noodles. You put noodles in it, it becomes goulash. Yes, noodles does not belong in chili. Noodles are in goulash. So that's my standpoint anyway. But I also, in goulash, there's no specific kind of recipe. So that is covering today's basis. First of all, the cooking world lost a great yesterday, Anne Burrell. If you're not in the cooking world, if you don't love to watch cooking shows, you probably don't know who I'm talking about. Anne Burrell, 55 years old. And I guess that's what really hits home. That's only 4 years from now for me. Anne Burrell was the female cook or chef. She's a chef. Spiky hair on the Food Network. Phenomenal chef, phenomenal personality. Passed away at the age of 55. That to me is more at home, okay? When you see people that are 92, 93, 94, you go, yeah, they're up there. You know? But at 55, it's crazy. And it's a celebrity, so you always think that they're on a different plane because, especially being a chef, so they should be eating hell, you know? They probably don't take care of themselves the same way we do, but maybe they do. I don't know. But to the family of Anne Burrell, rest in peace. Now, on to the other discussion of the two politicians in Minnesota that were shot, one wounded, one killed. Her husband was killed. The other husband was injured. My condolences. What's pissing me off about this whole thing is there is more discussion about what party they belong to, you can't believe they're Republicans, blah, 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 that I think they were Democrats, and it's Democrats trying to set up who the F cares? We lost people yesterday over something, obviously, that involved mental health problems. I don't care if the shooter was a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, an atheist. I don't really care. Okay? I don't care. The fact is that there was a crime committed against four innocent people, really. I don't care also if she's pro-abortion or not pro-abortion. I don't care if they all sign saying that abortion's okay. I don't care. We don't carry out those kind of things, and then we don't overlook it by saying, oh, what party did they belong to? Or quite honestly, when they lived in Wisconsin, they, I think, voted Democratic, and they're this and they're that. Bullshit. Who cares? That is the problem we're coming up with these days, is when something happens, no matter what it is, robbing banks to dating young, I don't care. It is, well, are they Republican or are they Democrat? Did they get paid by the Republican Party to do that? Did they get paid by the Democratic Party to do that? Nobody gives a shit, and nobody should. They're human beings. I don't care what party they belong to. I don't care where it comes from. It doesn't frickin' matter. What matters is we have a mental health crisis in this country because of crazy frickers that don't care about anybody else but their frickin' political party. We have a mental crisis right now because we're cutting research, we're cutting fundings, and we're doing all this to save money, but yet we're pissing money away every day playing golf and doing all the other bullshit. Pull our heads out here and start making a difference in this country. And not by saying, Chris, this is how it always has been. BS. I don't remember a time where political warfare as it is today. So if I go out and shoot somebody today, more people are going to talk about whether, well, in his last video, he talked like he was a Republican. Well, if you look back 3 years ago when I talked to him at a bar some time ago, bull, it doesn't matter. What caused the problem now is mental health issues. It isn't because of, he was pissed off because they were anti-abortion. He was pissed off because of this or that. What got him to that point? His roommates were surprised that how bad it was, that this happened, and they wish they could have stopped it. See, that's the problem with mental health. A lot of people don't discuss it because they don't want to. Because then they get put in a different realm of either they're frickin' nuts, they're crazy, they need to be locked up here, they need to be locked up. Do you realize if we were all honest about what's going on up here, most people probably would say, they need medication probably. Yeah, I'm on medication. I'm on medication to keep me balanced out because of my stroke damage. I had to go on an antidepressant because that's where my stroke was. But do you understand people's lives change daily? Do you think, we'll go back to Ann Burrell, 55, TV personality, celebrity, worth millions? Do you think her husband and his young son expected to be without her yesterday afternoon? And maybe you have an interaction with him that night and you go, well, Jesus. You get home, you go, God, that guy seemed off today. That guy seemed to be in a terrible mood. What a peckerhead. I ain't going to talk to him anymore. He lost his wife that morning. There's people like that every day. Yet we don't care. Yet we don't seem to care what people are going through. We don't seem to take the time to say, hey, you seem off today. Are you doing okay? Is there something I can help you with? Instead, we go, what a dickhead. Or what a bitch. Especially if it's people you interact with all the time and they seem off. Maybe it's time that you go, and it's not out in front of 20 or 30 people or a crowd, but you find a time to go, you know what? You just seem off. Are you doing okay? Is there something I can do to help you? When's the last time somebody reached out to say, hey, are you okay? And you go, Chris, I don't know the last time. I can tell you for me, since my stroke and since all of the Lyme's disease and the staph infections and everything else I've went through, my wife is one of the few that will ask me if I'm okay. Very few people reach out to people. I have a select few that I reach out to on a continuous basis because I know they're struggling and I just want to make sure they're okay. And sometimes I get replies back. Sometimes I don't. And then you go, gosh, that just... But now with the internet and with phones and everything else, we're used to not talking to people for weeks on end, months, whatever it may be. And I think that's part of the problem, is we are not checking on. I remember as a young kid, and I'm talking, when I was 5 probably, so we're talking 79, 80, 81, every Sunday was cookout day, Grandma and Grandpa Gerber came to visit. We had a meal around a table, played cards, did all that stuff. It was kind of like the family weekend check-in. When is the last time your family had a weekend check-in? And I'm talking back then it was every week. Every Sunday. Come hell or high water. It was either in Plain or we met at my grandparents' in Hub. One or the two. And if we went to Hub, I knew there was a vegetable that I wasn't going to eat. There was going to be rutabagas, and I wasn't going to eat them. I knew that. Not on my plate. But we got together. We got hugs. We got everybody checked in to kind of see what was going on. But I am so tired right now of seeing clips of, well, obviously he was a Democrat and paid by, or a Republican, and now they're saying he's a Republican and the Democrats paid him money and blah. Screw off. Okay? Nobody gives two shits. You shouldn't. Of what political party he was a part of. We need to figure out what could have done to prevent that. And you can't tell me we can't find it through internet posts or anything else, because I get sent all the time shit that I've looked at before online. I still have a guy from some driving company that I looked at a driver online a year ago. He still calls me 5 times a week to say, hey, still thought you looked at performance golf. You still interested? If I have not answered your phone call, I'm probably not interested. Nor if your phone comes up as spam, I'm probably not interested. So why can't we figure this other stuff out? Why are we cutting funding for health, mental health, education, healthcare? Why are we... Oh, that's right, because we're not all millionaires and billionaires that need a tax cut. And we don't have to have people deal with that. We just lie about people in government's health care and their health. See, we're not that big. I'm not at least that popular where I can come on and say, well, I'm, 6'5", 219, and I look good, and I'm healthy. And people, it's the only positions in America where we've recently discovered that one of the people that was serving in the government in D.C. was already in a nursing home with Alzheimer's, missed numerous votes, and it was never reported. Everyone that serves in that government in Washington, D.C. should have to have a cognitive test every year, once a year, as a checkup. Here's what you're going to do. And don't tell me you scored perfect on it, because you can't. You can't score perfect on a cognitive test, because it's impossible. You are going to get things wrong. You are going to get things mixed up. And then we have to worry about, well, this person and that person, and we got people yelling at each other and all of that. If you work in the healthcare world of around senior citizens and everywhere else, and you see what seniors are paying now, I look at what my dad and them pay out of pocket for medications, and they've been paying in forever, and they still got to worry about Social Security. You still got to worry about all that, and your health insurance sucks, and you're still paying out of pocket exorbitant amounts on more limited incomes than you had before. Our system's backwards. It's totally screwed up. Mental health is on a decline, folks. And you can blame it on food dyes or whatever else you want, or vaccines, or blame it on whatever you want. The number one problem with mental health right now is the care and compassion and the lack thereof of the general public. And then listening to all the shit that goes on in Washington, D.C. or even locally at the state level. Because if they can't get along and work from across the aisle to across the aisle, what the hell difference does it make? Doesn't matter. Because then it makes everybody else fight. And hence why we still have a two-party system that has been failing forever. And that is why you have to raise so much money to earn a job that doesn't pay you nearly what you spent to get it. But the benefits thereafter are the ones worth it. We shouldn't be paying people till they're dead. They should be paid just like you and I or anybody else. That, once you're done getting paid. And if Warren Buffett's got the best plan for all of us to get out of debt and to take care of it all. But you know why it'll never get voted in? Because things would be drastically changed in government. But when we are starting to lose politicians, young children, everything else from gun violence and mental health, and we're arguing and putting our 2 cents about what political party they belong to, we have missed the boat as citizens of this country. We have totally missed the boat. If you are trying to convince me that if he'd have been a Democrat instead, or if he was a Republican, or somebody, no, that isn't it. What caused it was all up in here. And the lies and things that everybody's being fed. That's where it's at. So, when we can figure out how to hold people accountable and how to help people and be caring and compassionate and asking your neighbor first how they're doing and help them move forward and help them succeed. See, I think also if you look in the job world, coming from a sales manager mindset, see, most sales managers, if you're comfortable with what you are going to train your assistant manager to take over for you and have the ability to do so. And you have to have the confidence that they're not going to take your job because of who you are. I think that's how you have to look at society in the whole. What's in here? What's in here and what goes on up here that sets you apart and makes you a better person. So, that's where we're at today. I'm just tired of all the blame put on each party of this or that, or we suck because of this party and we're off because of it. Get over it. Start thinking about people and as citizens together with one goal of making the country we live in a better place. So, there you have it. Trying to make Mom pleased, looking down on me. Yesterday, got to set my Audrey's birthday yesterday. Was a great time. Isaac's birthday was this last week too. Got to see him a couple days. Got to see the grand puppy. I do all of this for her and for me, for my mental health. This is what the Moose Minute Project's about. Is just to talk about the things that go on and the things that piss me off. So, I thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Sandy, thank you for that nice comment. I appreciate that very much. The second annual Marcy Strikeout Alzheimer Baker Shootout. Yes, it's a long name. November 8th, 2025. Is coming along. And it's going to be here, unfortunately, before I know it. So, looking forward to that. I've got some great gifts. My goal this year, I raised $5,133 last year in 2024. My goal this year is $10,000. We'll see if I can get there. And I do it all on my own. I have great friends and stuff that pull things in for me, but I'm not asking for people to go to businesses or anything else like that. I handle that. It's just basically to honor Mom and honor my mom and those that have lost others from this awful disease. So, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everybody for tuning in today. But again, goulash. It's chili with noodles, okay? It's not chili, it's goulash. Chili has no noodles. Some would argue chili, there's a fine definition with beans or no beans too. But chili to me has to have beans. But goulash, there's only one way about it. It has noodles. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day. It is raining here in southern Wisconsin. So wherever you're watching from, may your day be sunny and may things be great. We'll talk soon. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning with another edition of the Moose Minute Project. And as always, take time to bless somebody's day. And I'll see you tomorrow morning.